E&J discussions are filled with movie spoilers. You've been warned. Hello everybody, this is Enoch.
And this is Josh.
And this is part 2 of our little series of Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And today we're going to be talking about Alien Covenant and how it correlates to the other Alien movies. So just to rehash on Alien Covenant, what goes down, we're on the Covenant ship and everybody's sleeping for a long trip. It's 2,000 colonists and 1,000 embryos. Walter, the android of the Covenant ship, is the only one up and operating things. But then there's a solar flare, a starburst, that interrupts their trip and damages it. And
it ends up killing the captain.
The captain dies and is
burning alive.
So Walter goes ahead and tells the computer to wake everybody up. And they go to work on fixing the ship and redirecting it, and then that's when they pick up a signal and find out that the signal's coming from a nearby planet. It's actually a lot closer.
Some sort of uncharted planet that's perfectly suited for life. It's a lot closer, their ship is damaged, so they decide, Orem, the new captain, decides, let's go and check out that planet.
And then it goes from there. Then it gets wild. Well, we bump into David. That planet that they happen to go to, that they happen to find, was the planet that David and Shaw landed on from Prometheus.
It turned out to be a transmission from Shaw. She was singing Country Roads or something like that, and it sounded like she was just singing it, sending out that transmission to whoever who might pick it up.
Or maybe she, because David probably had sort of a thing with her, like maybe a mother, or maybe he liked her or loved her, and he recorded her while she was just working, and he recorded her, and then he used that as a signal, just kept shooting that signal out.
I mean,
but it was Shaw.
Whatever happened, it definitely seems like it was David was the one who was continuously sending it out.
Yeah,
and then to lure maybe people to, he's stuck on this planet.
Yeah.
So, whatever plans he has, he needs people. He needs more test subjects.
Yeah. And he needs a way out.
And he needs a way off the planet.
You find out later that David and Shaw have been stuck on that planet for 10 years. But, so it gets pretty crazy from there. So, going back to the fire that killed the captain, Branson, what about him?
Yeah, so he was the captain. He was also, I guess he was married to Daniels, the one woman who's basically the protagonist in the movie. And he dies, and he doesn't get to say a word. He burns like he's still asleep, but he burns.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to open up the pod, and they can't open it up.
Right.
The leader dies, and now someone else has to make all the critical decisions. And his first critical decision was, where do we go? They had the choice between, what was it, Orgai 6.
Orgai 6, and the new planet that they had just
It was an
found.
uncharted planet, so they called it Planet 4. That's something that I'd like to talk about, is like, was that the right choice with the information that he had?
Yeah.
So, there was damage that was done to the ship, and they had the choice between going to their destination planet, Orgai 6, or going to this other planet that's, too good to be true. Hey, this planet's closer, it's perfect. Why don't we just settle here? Had they gone to Orgai 6...
Oh, it would have been better. Knowing what we know now.
But was it the right choice for him, knowing what he knew?
Yeah, and then they touched on the faith factor, the religious factor again. We saw a little bit of that. We didn't get to talk about that in part 1, but Shaw was religious, and they showed her wearing the cross, and she would talk about her beliefs every now and then, and now it's a whole big conflict.
And then someone asked her, if the engineers made us, then
Yeah, well, then
the
do you
God.
still believe in your faith? And she was like, well, yeah, because who made them? You know, it didn't rock her faith at all. But now we're in Alien Covenant, and this new captain, what's his name again?
Orem.
Orem.
Odin.
Orem. He has a little bit of that too. It's just like, well, I say let's go to this new planet that we just found, and I'm just basically going on faith here. But let's do it. And then
but that's too bad because he really made the wrong choice there, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I don't know what's up with that, but on a side note, with Jacob Branson, who's Daniel's husband, he burned to death in the pod, and if you remember in Prometheus, Charlie Holloway, which was Elizabeth Shaw's husband, he died. He was infected with the black liquid, and then he was burned to death.
Yeah. David put in his drink, and he drank it, and then he got infected and impregnated Shaw. But then later it took over him, and
so he ended up being burned.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the interesting thing about that is, both their husbands, the protagonists of both of those, I guess, Shaw was the protagonist of the last one, and this one, it's Daniel's. And both their husbands burned to death, and then they kind of ended up having more of a leadership role.
That even goes along with all of the other aliens. It's always a female protagonist. In all the other three aliens, it's Sigourney Weaver. It's Ripley, Lieutenant Ripley, and she's the protagonist, and she's the one that
even in the Alien versus Predator, it was. I don't remember if Requiem. I don't remember that movie.
No.
But in the other one, it was a female.
Yeah, but that was an offshoot. Yeah.
Yeah, a terrible movie.
But yeah, it is interesting that we got the female heroines in all of the aliens.
And the guy's got to burn the guy. That's
get rid of the guy. Burn him really bad.
Burn him.
Anyway, but what happened to Shaw though? We find out in Alien Covenant when they land on the new planet they decide to go to, and they find David, and then they're asking about Shaw because they know the story of Prometheus. That was a ship from before that got lost. And then they discover later in the movie Shaw's body, and she's been, preserved and actually changed too, which you can find that in some of H.R. Geiger's.
Yeah, the mutilation thing with her, where you see her like her head, and then there's like all this aliens.
Yeah.
Stuff that's from
H.R. Geiger. Who is the one, of course, who his art was the one that inspired the whole Alien series to begin with.
Then the director, Ridley Scott, then he needed someone to make the aliens like unique. Back in the 70s when he made the first one, and he seeked out Geiger, like he saw some of his work or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it was all from Geiger's drawings, and then this was a little shout out to this drawing of Shaw's face just made into something else. I guess David wanted to change.
And there's like another one with like her top, her face is fine, but then like below her mouth, like her jaw is all like hanging open and it's all open and stuff.
He messed her up pretty bad, but what was he doing to Shaw? Is the question that you kind of leave the movie not really knowing. I mean, you can gather that he was experimenting from everything that was surrounding that whole corpse. It was experimentations. He
had insects. Drawings of insects. He had like the alien
cross
egg
section.
Yeah, cross sections of the alien egg. It was he had just a bunch of drawings, and he'd been doing this for a long time. That was like his part of it. It was like a lab. Yeah.
It was the mad scientist lab, and actually, I guess a new bonus feature came out called Alien Advent, and you can see all of this in detail, grotesque detail of David dissecting Shaw. But it doesn't actually give enough information as to show, did he kill her to do these experiments? Probably because she was
Or
the
did she
only
die
human.
on
Or
her
did
own
she
and
die?
then he said, okay, well,
Yeah.
now that she's dead. He did say that he loved her. There was that part where he said he loved her and he showed that drawing that
Yeah.
he made of her.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Well,
first of all, he's capable of lying, number one. And number two, that doesn't mean that he didn't kill her.
Yeah.
You know.
But he did make a gravestone for her anyway, and drew a lot of pictures of her, and even tried to create her corpse into something more than human, to honor her. He says in the Alien Advent that he killed all the engineers to honor her. Not quite sure what that meant, except, well, the engineers killed her crew. But there was a lot more going on in it, and it leaves, again, us, the viewers, open to our own interpretation until we find out more in the next movies. There's another tidbit, little video called Alien Prologue, The Crossing.
Yeah.
Alien Covenant Prologue, The Crossing. And this shows the time that happens between Prometheus and the Covenant, where David and Elizabeth Shaw, are driving the engineer spaceship to hopefully a planet of engineers.
And we don't know how long it takes, but it shows them like navigating, like using some sort of navigational map and stuff like that. So they're traveling. It shows Elizabeth Shaw reconnecting David's head. 'Cause remember, David was just a head. He got his head ripped off
At the end of Prometheus.
Exactly. So she put, meticulously put his head back on.
But she was sick from a little bit of the black ooze residue
Or
coming
something.
from the face hugger.
Yeah, something
She was
happened.
infected, but very in small ways.
They don't show enough information to know exactly what happened, but then he puts her,
In
Elizabeth
crying.
Shaw, after he's completely fine or healed up or whatever, she restores him, puts her in the sleep. And it's funny because that's how the movie ends. Alien Covenant movie ends, where he's putting as
Daniels.
pretending to be Walter, he's
Yeah.
putting Daniels to sleep in the same way.
Yep.
So Elizabeth Shaw is in her cryo sleep. David then bombs he must find the planet for the engineers, and then he attacks. And then whatever happens, the ship crashes. The ship must have crashed.
Yeah, from the docking, I heard, I didn't see for myself, but I heard the docking mechanism is actually a weapon also, and it shoots down the Prometheus, or not the Prometheus ship, but the engineer ship that Elizabeth Shaw is in, and David shoots them down.
Yeah, so after they bomb the stuff with the black ooze, they get shot down.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Shaw could have died in that crash,
Yeah.
or she could have survived that crash, and then David then uses her as
in the Alien Advent, it goes into detail of David conversing with Wayland Enterprise back home. He's leaving a message, a voicemail, and telling about all his experiments, and he mentions that Shaw didn't agree with his paradise that he was going to create on this one place with his new experiment. She didn't agree, so it was unfortunate she had to go. He kind of made it sound like that.
So that
leads
would
us to
definitely
believe-
means that he killed her. I mean, I thought he killed her because I thought it'd be too convenient that he needs to experiment on her to create these aliens.
Yeah, she's the only human, and she's a female, so she has reproductive organs, eggs and such. So perfect specimen for him to do his little lab.
And remember what he said to Daniels. He said, "I'm going to do the same thing to you that I
Yeah.
did to Shaw." So, which would include killing her. So, I mean, he definitely. I mean, I gotta believe that he killed her. I think with that Advent, I think that proves it that he killed her, and then he did the experimentation.
Then another thing that it goes into in Advent, that he is going to do these experiments, complete these experiments on Daniels, continue on, because he was missing one little thing, his queen, he says. So that leads us to believe, of course, Ridley Scott is going to go ahead with the whole queen.
Yeah, because remember, Ridley Scott, there was never a queen. The aliens reproduced without a queen.
Right.
You know, it was like face hugger, They laid the egg in your chest. The alien burst out. Then the alien somehow created the pods. The pods, and then back to Facehugger. So that was
then
the cycle.
Next one, Aliens, was done by Cameron.
Yep, and he created
the Queen. So Ridley Scott had nothing to do with that. But now it looks like he's going to put that in there. So
which is interesting. People wondered about that. So now we're going to see the creation of the Queen.
Yeah.
And
Daniels.
Yeah, that mad scientist David. He's not done yet. And now he's got all the experiments that he needs. He has all the
thousands of colonists, humans.
So that kind of leads into the other thing that I wanted to say, like, what was his future plans? Well, now we kind of know what his future plans is. He's going to expand on his creation. He's going to make the Queen. He's going to improve on them, and he's got at least 2,000 test subjects.
Yeah. And that's all the time we have for now, folks. Hope you enjoyed our show. We'll be coming out with a third part where we'll wrap all this up, the Alien Covenant and Prometheus series, and then move on to bigger and better things. Until then, goodbye.